What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, I am here to throw out some Criterion recommendations, to talk about my Criterion wish list for the month of November, because as you all know, every single July, every single November, we get that Criterion Barnes & Noble sale, and word on the street is we are getting it on November the 3rd, this Friday. So usually that's how it goes. It's the first Friday of November or July. We get that Criterion 50% off sale, and we all go crazy on Criterions. Now, the sale will be available on the Barnes & Noble website, and you will also be able to go into your local Barnes & Noble stores to pick up these titles as well. So I usually like to make a little wish list of some titles that I've got my eye on that I'm going to pick up for the month, and then I like to throw out some recommendations as well. But before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me. I almost pointed to you guys. All that stuff there behind me every single day on this channel. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to start off with some recommendations. These are titles that I think you should grab this month in the Criterion Barnes & Noble 50% off sale. These are my top recommendations. I tried to make these different than the last time I did this, because sometimes I tend to repeat titles when I'm doing recommendations, and I didn't want to do that, so I did go back and check back in July when I did the same video, and none of these titles I recommended back then. Maybe I recommended some of these in the past. I can't quite remember. But let's go ahead and jump into the recommendations, and we are going to start with a film called Deep Cover. And I actually did a review for this, I think back in 2021 when it came out, but I absolutely love the cover art on this. But this is directed by Bill Duke. It's starring Lawrence Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum. And just, it's a really cool thriller from the early 90s. I think this came out in 1992. And I remember the trailer for this. It was actually on my VHS tape for Freddy's Dead. And it kind of interested me at a very young age. I remember watching it when I was young, and then I never really thought about it until Criterion decided to put it out. And just a really cool movie. It's a crime thriller, so there's criminal activity going on. You got Larry Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum kind of going toe-to-toe. And just the charisma of both of those actors just really elevate this film. I think the story can be a little bit generic in some parts. There are some very interesting like twists and turns that happen that you don't see in the normal like noir thriller. But it is a very good movie, and I do highly recommend it. And this is just a Blu-ray, but I believe that this is a 4K scan. Yes, it's a 4K scan. It looks absolutely magnificent. There's some great special features in this as well. You have a new interview with the director, Bill Duke. You got new conversation with film scholars. So just talking about this movie and its historical significance in cinema, and just a really good release. I recommend it. Deep Cover from the Criterion Collection. Add it to your collection this November. And I just watched this one on 4K like a month or so ago, and it just about blew me away. And I'm talking about Blowout, directed by the great Brian De Palma. The more I'm watching of De Palma, the more I'm just really loving. And this is a really cool movie. You got John Travolta in this film as this sound guy in movies. And the opening of this film really got me, because I was like, what is this movie? And then it kind of shifts to something else. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But just a really cool movie, really interesting story that kind of goes in some wild directions. Like, I love John Lithgow, but some of the stuff that happens with him in the third act, I wasn't the craziest about, but I think the movie does end strong. And I just think that this movie is super interesting. And John Travolta is just on top of his game in this film. This is notoriously is where Quentin Tarantino got the idea to cast John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, because he watched this movie and loved his performance in it so much. And of course, you got Nancy Allen in this film as well, who is also great. So I absolutely love Blowout. It's a very interesting movie, kind of revolving around this kind of, political assassination. So very like basic standard premise, but just the way it's constructed and the way they use sound in this movie is probably the most interesting thing about it. But I love Blowout. And the 4K, this is the 4K release. They did a Blu-ray as well, I believe, but the 4K looks freaking top-notch, beautiful. One of the best 4Ks I've seen all year. And I think this was a 2021 release, but absolutely incredible. You got a bunch of special features on here as well. So 100% recommend it, especially if you like Brian De Palma films like Dressed to Kill, Carlito's Way and stuff like that. But some of it is more like noir type films, Body Double. Like you'll definitely love this one if you haven't seen it. It came out in 1981. Highly recommend Blowout on 4K. And then Menace to Society on 4K. This one I think came out a couple of years ago. I think this one came out in 2021. Blow away 4K transfer. This looked absolutely incredible. I think it was one of Criterion's first ever 4Ks, if I'm not mistaken, but I love this edition because it's so beautiful. It has the 2 in the middle, and then you take it out and just the red right there is freaking awesome. But yeah, this is directed by the Hughes brothers, and what a stunning film. Like, I had never seen this film, and I was just floored by it. Like, the ending just had me completely stunned. I remember when it was over, like, I just couldn't move. Like, that's how much this movie affected me. So, absolutely fantastic film. I highly recommend it. This 4K looks great. This edition is super cool. Every time Criterion does a digipack, you know, I have to recommend it. So, highly recommend Menace to Society on 4K. Mildred Pierce on 4K came out this year, and I bought it, I think, in the flash sale, because I don't buy a lot of Criterion titles brand new because, you know, sales, and we'll talk about that here in a second and what I'm wanting for November. But Mildred Pierce I got in the flash sale, and I actually watched it with my wife. She actually sat down and watched a movie from the 40s with me, which she doesn't usually do at all. And this movie's got Joan Crawford, and it's directed by Michael Curtiz, who also directed White Christmas, and I think some other movies that I know, but I just can't think of off the top of my head. But what a great movie. This is kind of framed as a noir type mystery film, but Joan Crawford just gives an excellent performance, and I haven't seen enough of her. I know she's a legendary actress that kind of historically is kind of a terrible person, the way she treated her daughter. That there's a whole movie about it, which I have from Paramount Presents, but she's an incredible actress, and there's no denying that. And this movie looks so freaking good in 4K, and there's tons of great special features. So highly recommend Mildred Pierce. And it's a movie that has themes that just hold up today. Like, if my wife can watch a movie and really enjoy it from the 40s, then you know it's a timeless film, because she does not like going back and watching these classics at all. So really good movie that still holds up to today. And the last one I have, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I just reviewed it on the channel, but the Todd Browning Sideshow Shockers collection, which includes Freaks, the Unknown, and The Mystic, 3 films directed by Todd Browning. And both of these films are from the 20s. They're silent films. And then you got Freaks, which is kind of a legendary film, I would say. Came right after he directed Dracula. But this is a must-own for me, like, especially now that you can pick it up for 35 bucks to get 3 films in this collection with tons of great features. And I believe there's some new audio commentaries on here as well. Just an absolutely fantastic release by the Criterion Collection, and I highly, highly recommend it. It's a beautiful little digipack release as well. And yeah, and Freaks looks really great in Blu-ray. I wish they would have done a 4K, but you have to own these movies in your collection. It's just, it's historical. It has some historical significance, and I wish they keep doing this kind of stuff. 20s, 30s films don't get enough love. I think we need more on Blu-ray and certainly 4K as well. So those are my recommendations. Let's go ahead and get into what I'm looking to pick up for the month of November. I actually have 10 titles on my wish list this month, which is more than usual. Usually I just get like 5, maybe 7 titles. So I'm actually upgrading to 10 titles this month. So there's just a lot of stuff that's come out this year, last year, that I want to add to the collection. And that's another thing. Like, I'm not going back too far in the Criterion Collection to pick up older, like, Blu-ray titles, because Criterion's in full-on 4K upgrade mode right now, and I'm not taking my chances. So I'm buying stuff that has come out fairly recently because I feel like I'm safe with these titles. So the first one that I'm looking to grab is La Bamba, because that one came out back in August. I really wanted to grab it then. I think the price was down to like 20, and then they raised it at the last minute, so I didn't go ahead and pick it up. So I'm definitely going to grab it this month because this is a movie I remember watching when I was a kid, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking to reminisce. And I don't think that this one has had a Blu-ray in quite some time. I think the older Blu-ray actually went out of print. So I wish they would have done this one in 4K. I don't know why they didn't, but they did it in Blu-ray, and I'm assuming they're not going to do it in 4K next year. Maybe they will, but I'm going to go ahead and grab La Bamba now, and yeah, really looking forward to that one. We also have the Renowned Westerns collector set. I was going to grab this one in July, but I just had so much stuff I was getting in July, I just sat it out, and I said, you know what, I'll grab that in November. But I love Westerns. All these Westerns are starring Randolph Scott, and I think directed by Bud Budaker. I think is his name. That's probably wrong, but yeah, 5 Westerns in 4K. It's gonna look beautiful. I cannot wait to check these out, and it's a nice big box set release, so I gotta grab it just for that reason. And I think it's gonna be like 75 bucks in the Criterion sale, so it's gonna be a little bit steep. Like I said, I'm gonna be dropping some money on Criterion this month for sure, but it'll be worth it, guys. It'll be worth it. I also want to pick up Chilly Scenes of Winter. I heard some good things about this one. I think this is also starring Griffin Dunne. Sorry guys, I think I got his name wrong in the After Hours review, and everybody let me have it in the comment section. They said, Ken, you don't know crap about film. You don't know how to pronounce Griffin Dunne's name? I probably just said it wrong now. Maybe it is Dune. Is it Dune? Is it Dunne? I don't know. Am I done with this video yet? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to watching Chilly Scenes of Winter. Heard good things, and I want to pick this one up. Triangle of Sadness. I want to grab the 4K of this one. This doesn't have any other release, and this movie was nominated for Best Picture. I've heard some very conflicting things about this movie. I feel like it's extremely divisive. People are always like talking about it in parts. They're like, the first part's boring, the second part's great, and the third part people are split on. I don't know. It's very strange to hear people talk about this film, but it makes me want to see it. So I'm gonna buy this movie on 4K for sure. It's a nice addition with like a grenade in the middle, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Triangle of Sadness, I definitely want to grab that on 4K. Also, Petite Maman. I want to go ahead and grab this Blu-ray title because it's directed by the same person that did Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I really, really enjoyed that film. I think I watched it back in 2019 when it came out. I actually still need to get that movie from the Criterion Collection. Maybe I have it. I don't know. But yeah, maybe I should have put that one on the list as well. But really enjoyed that movie. I want to grab the other film from that same director. We also have One False Move on 4K. I want to pick this one up because I've been hearing a lot of people say some really good things about this film, and it has a really good cast. It's got my boy Bill Paxton in it, so I got to support Bill Paxton for sure. So yeah, One False Move on 4K. Definitely want to grab that one. The Trial on 4K, which is an Orson Welles movie starring Anthony Perkins. Sounds absolutely batshit insane. I've heard some crazy things about it, but I definitely want to check this film out. Now, I know that I think that Studio Canal did a 4K of this one that does have HDR, and this one does not. But I kind of just want to get the Criterion version for whatever reason. I just want to get the Criterion version. So I'm going to get the Criterion version of The Trial. And again, from what I heard people talking about this movie, it's a batshit insane experience that I have to watch. So I cannot wait to get it. The Others on 4K, I am definitely grabbing. I wanted to grab that in October, but I thought I was so close to that Criterion sale. I think like a week away. It just came out like a week ago. I was so close. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until November and grab that one. I couldn't wait with the Freaks Todd Browning set, but I did wait with The Other. So yeah, definitely going to grab that this month. Devil in a Blue Dress on 4K, which I think is the only 2022 title that I have on this list. That one came out last summer. I wanted to pick this one up. I knew I wanted to pick this one up, but I forgot to put it on my list last month. So yeah, this is a movie starring Denzel Washington. Heard some incredible things about it. So definitely want to add this one to the collection. We also have Wings of Desire on 4K that I'm looking to add to the collection. I think this one came out back in May, but I've heard some great things about this movie. And I also think that there's an overseas 4K release of this one that some people have said is better than the Criterion release. But you know what? I just want to grab the Criterion, put it on the shelf, match all my other Criterions, and just be done with it. So there you have it, guys. That's my 10 titles that I'm looking to pick up. My wish list for the Criterion Barnes & Noble 50% off sale in November, so to speak. But there you have it, guys. That is my wish list for the month of November. My 10 titles that I am looking to pick up from the Criterion collection for the Barnes & Noble 50% off November sale. Definitely, guys, let me know what you're picking up in that comment section below. Do you have 5 titles that you're looking to get? Are you getting 10 titles? Are you getting 20 titles, 30 titles? List them all down below in the comments section. Do you know what those titles are going to be? Do you plan a list like this? Or do you just go into the stores and wing it? Because I know some people do that. I used to do that as well, but I find it's easier if I structure a list and stick to it. Now, not saying that any of these couldn't change, because they definitely could. I could go in the stores and say, oh, damn it, I did want that one, and then switch those out. But I do just want to get 10 at least, again, but these are subject to change, and it probably won't change too much, but again, it could always change. Criterion sale month, all bets are off. But again, let me know what you're looking to pick up in the comments section below. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications for all of those future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.